Cam and Luke said after the game, when they were asked about the difference between the first Louisville game and Saturday, was that the preparation has just been completely different, and that it started with them, the older guys, kind of leading by example. Have you seen an upgrade in their leadership, especially when it comes to preparing?
I think we've gotten to a point where we're having better practices, and I think they're very bright young men, and I told them that 2 days before we played Louisville last time, our practices were awful, and the 2 days before the played Louisville this time, our practices were very good. And so whether they did some things behind the scenes to make it that way or not, I don't know, but I think that we played harder, we were more attentive to detail, everything, and we just had 2 very good practices before we played Louisville, whereas last time our practices were awful.
Cam said a big part of the fuel was never wanting to feel like that again, not just because of the performance, but why they had that performance with the practices.
Well, I think if you think about it, they both go very much together. You know, one's probably more responsible for the other than anything. And I think they're really bright kids, but they're good leaders. They really are. But sometimes, no, I'm not going to say that. Started to say something. It could be somebody could form their own opinion about me talking about somebody else. But sometimes the best intentions don't work. Sometimes they do. And I think that those kids are good leaders, and they had some very positive input on this one.
Roy, on that topic, is that a kind of a lesson learned that what happened after the first state game?
Did we play Louisville after the state game?
Yeah.
No. So evidently I didn't learn anything. I think, yeah, but I think that, we had a good win at state, so you would think practices would be good, but they were not. And I don't think that really had anything to do with it. I just think they looked back after the Louisville game and listened to us saying how poorly we thought we worked, how poorly their attention was during those 2 days, and I think they gained from it more there. But it's a long season. I mean, it'd be interesting what Kevin thinks about their practices before this weekend's game, before Virginia. I mean, Virginia and Clemson, that's 2 really, really positive results in their 2 games. You're still messing around with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, and some of them are more mature and consistently act more mature than others do, but some don't.
Right, don't you expect, though, that with seniors or senior/graduate students, that the leadership would be more consistent? You always talk about not just depth, but experience depth.
Well, I think there's no question about that the seniors have been through so many more things, and that experience should be listened to by the younger players. Those 3 guys have been through a lot, Cam even at 2 different schools, so they've had numerous experiences that they should be able to pick on and to talk and use as an example to the other kids. But it depends from team to team. It really does. I mean, we had David Noel was one of the greatest leaders I've ever been around, but he also had Tyler Hansbrough, who would have let you guys lead him because he was going to play his tail off regardless. And I think the makeup of the team. But this, I've said many times, I think this is an outstanding group of seniors and senior leaders, great kids, good, very, very, very good students. They can check off all the boxes.
Y'all hit 53 threes in 5 games, which is a record for UNC basketball. Is there anything different in the three-point shooting or any of the offense, or just a matter of the ball going to the basket and things kind of clicking?
Ball going in the basket. We did the same blessed things first day of practice we're doing right now. Practice the same amount of shots, talk to them about the quality of our shots compared to the quality of the other team's shots. Like I thought we shot it terribly. So how many did we make Saturday?
6.
Oh, yeah, 6 is not very good. 6 for 24 usually gets you beat. But ball's just got to go in. And perhaps somebody'd say, well, their back feels a little better or their ankle's not bothering them or something like that. But we've practiced the same way.
Have you had a chance to watch the state tape from Saturday? And is there anything you can take from knowing that performance, or is it just such an outlier?
Not watching it. But it doesn't make any difference whether I think I can get anything from it or not. But Kevin said that, I read one of his comments that it was just unbelievable, so why should I watch something that's unbelievable in that direction? Just like if they had beaten the Warriors, I wouldn't have watched that either. I'm watching the team with second half of the Virginia game, because Virginia plays strictly man-to-man, and then our game against them last time is the games that I'm watching.
That state score, though, is that kind of, I mean, have you ever seen anything like that? We were talking about it earlier. I mean, it's just bizarre.
I got enough things to worry about with my own club. I'm not worried about anything with anybody else's. Yeah, I noticed it. Yeah, it's I'll use your word, it's bizarre, but they'll score 90 against us. Beverly will make his first 12 to get 50%.
Is that kind of what do you say to your team about that? Because they're human, they see 24 points and.
Tell them, imagine how you would be going through this 48 hours if it had been us.
Yeah.
We'd have done something like that, we would have been ready to play the next game, I guarantee you. And so, but if you say too much more than that, I don't know what's going on with this. Again, what was it, 5 days before, Tuesday to Saturday? 5 days before, they had a chance against a team that one point was number one team in the country, had a chance to beat them. But it's college basketball, so.
I think it was a few weeks ago you said this team was nowhere where you wanted them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they now?
Still not there. And it's very easy to me because I look at the quality of our play. I've said that we've gotten better defensively, so we're probably a little closer there to what I want to be. With certain exceptions, we've not turned the ball over as much as we were for a while, so we're getting a little better there. But it's a long season. It's just a methodical process.
Raycom is through the last season producing games for the ACC. Just what are your kind of memories growing up being a North Carolina guy and their influence on growing the game nationwide for the ACC?
I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, guys, I never saw a North Carolina basketball game in person until I played in the preliminary for the freshman team. And I saw 3 or 4 basketball games on TV when I was in high school, and that's about it. But I didn't know anything different from Raycom or what kind of some kind of glasses.
Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban, yeah. I didn't know any difference in those two. Jesus Christ. I didn't have any sunglasses when I grew up. And I didn't watch college about it. Went right over your head. But no, I really don't. I mean, I'm not that old, but also it wasn't something that we watched in my family.
Speaking of leadership, to Barry's question, Kenny, gives off that. It seems like he's the vocal leader of the team.
Mm-hmm.
When you first either recruited or when he was a freshman, did you envision him being, or when you look back, could you see him being that?
Not necessarily as a freshman, but after that, because he's a very mature kid. He understands things. He's very bright. He doesn't mind speaking up. Kids will listen to him, but I do say to him, be careful, because you don't want to say things all the time because they'll stop listening to you. I didn't see that coming as a freshman, but after that, it doesn't surprise me at all because he is experienced. He's mature. He's sincere. He sees the big picture. He's been there before. He's been playing on a team that had a chance to be really good, and all of a sudden gets hurt and he's not playing. So he's seen a lot of different perspectives, and his experience has been a really wide range of experiences.
State has dealt with a lot of double-digit deficits in games and then been fighting back. How do you prepare for a team that never gives up like that?
Well, I hope to crap that we don't ever give up either. If you see a game where we give up, you'll see me walking out. So it's what you do in college basketball. As kids try to play as hard as they can play, and I've been accused of never thinking we were going to lose a game until the horn went off. We may have lost by 99, but I thought there was some miracle play that we were going to have. But I just see a basketball team that forced us into 23 turnovers. I see a basketball team that hit us right between the eyes, and sometimes that game we reacted very well, and other times we didn't. I see a team that had the last shot to tie the game against Virginia that I think is great. But I don't even look at my own score during a game. Why would I know what it's like on the other team? But before we played them last time, I'm trying to remember which game I watched, but I can't remember that because I really do try to watch one full game, and sometimes, well, one full game, and then all the clips that my staff picks out to show the team. So I do want to know something about them, but and I usually don't start watching tape until it's the very next game. And if I see State play against, I'll use Virginia again. I mean, we're in the locker room, you know, and it's on TV in Atlanta. But State wasn't. Our next game in Virginia wasn't either, so I didn't pay much attention to it.
Coach, going off alongside that, you said you watched the Virginia game and obviously playing them a few weeks ago. Anything you tell your guys as far as handling that ball pressure, and especially since they saw firsthand this season, you know, what that can be like?
Yeah, I mean, we turned it over 23 times, and some of them were silly plays on our part, but some of them were very good plays on North Carolina State's part, too. I would think that would be one of our emphases going into the game, that we can't turn it over like that and expect to be successful. They pick you up full court, so they keep coming at you, and they do it consistently, and it's part of their game plan, and so it's got to be part of our game plan to be able to try to play against that without turning it over. But they've been very successful turning a lot of teams over, and that may be part of the thing there. They never think they're out of the game because they always know that they can press and get some turnovers.
You mentioned a minute ago about defense having improved some. What maybe area primarily has improved the most during this little stretch?
How long have you been married?
Almost 14 years.
Your wife's cooking better the second year?
I can't answer that question.
Yes.
I think you just did. Wow. That's a guarantee rate not to hit 14.
Yeah, that's right. It's not to get 15, that's for sure. No, but it's the same thing. You get better with experience. I mean, really, I'm not talking about you. She's never cooked me a meal, so I don't know. I was trying to get you in trouble. But that's what basketball is. You just practice every day and you get a little bit better. But we work on every phase of it on the defensive end of the floor a lot. And so we've gotten better in some areas. And yet if we go out there tomorrow night and Beverly makes 12 out of 12, I'm not going to feel that way. Do you know where I was going with that question?
You know where you're going with that.
Before I get all the emails, Coach is aware that sometimes the guys also do the cooking, so, okay, so let's keep all the emails and the texts home.
But I mean, the thing is experience. You know, the more you cook, I would think you get better. I do a lot better job of the grilled cheese sandwich now than I used to. Okay, but it's like playing defense. You get better the more you work on it. I didn't get personal. I mean, it's just that my wife could really cook before we got married. She's really good now. She just refuses to do it.
Box lunch the other night.
That's right. That's right.
Can we go back a ways?
Or I've gone back 46 years. How the hell am I going back farther than that?
It's close.
Yeah.
What kind of player was Buzz Peterson, and how close have you been with him over the years?
Buzz was really a very good all-around player. Could do a little bit of everything. Did nothing great, but was really a very good all-around player that could always help you. I think it was maybe Kentucky in the Meadowlands or LSU, somebody where he scores 19 in one half. I think that was his highlight of making all those jump shots. But he could shoot the ball. He had good size for a guard. He could handle the ball. The last 20 years, I've been more concerned about his golf game than I have his basketball. But his golf game's gotten a little bit better too. The old joke, yeah, it's funny that he was the high school player of the year at the same class as Michael, and I don't think Buzz has beaten Michael in basketball a single time since that time. But great young man, not a young man anymore, but a great young man at that point, and a great friend right now who I think is really doing a good job for Charlotte. Works hard at his game, studying players, talking to people about players. So, but I have nothing but really positive thoughts about him.
Kind of an off-topic question. You talked about the orange juice last week. Noticed you switched to Sprite Zero as your soda of choice. You used to be a big Coke guy. What's been the shift there? It's been intriguing to me. Something I've thought about.
Yeah, you're really searching for things. Oh gosh, 2001 or 2, something like that. people at Kansas wanted me to go to the Mayo Clinic to have a full physical. I don't know that they were really concerned about me. I just didn't think they didn't want me dying on their watch. Didn't want to be responsible. So I go up and do a physical. There's a lot of it about the 4 or 5 second blackout periods when I get up too quick or explode or something like that. And they put me through more tests than you can possibly imagine. And the funny thing, they get you to complete this chart. And it goes through there and it said soft drinks. And I put Coca-Cola Classic 8 to 10 a day for 30 years. And that was right. I mean, that was a normal deal, 8 to 10 a day for 30 years. And it's always, I'll give you some, I'll coach you a little bit. If your doctor's looking at your chart and he goes, ooh, that's not a good sign, so be careful there. And so then it goes down there and it says desserts, and I put 2 a day for 30 years, and he said, ooh, again. And so I knew he had something bad, but my triglycerides are supposed to be below 150, and mine was 455. And he was trying to figure out how my cholesterol could be as good as it was with my triglycerides so bad. So more information than you need to know, but this is a medical exam I'll give you at the end. The next day I stopped drinking Coca-Cola Classic. I had a headache for about 30 minutes. Tried Diet Coke, didn't like that at all. Wanda said we ought to try Diet 7-Up or Diet Sprite, and we tried Sprite Zero, and I liked it. So I'm down now probably 2 or 3 today, and sometime no more than 1, but just cutting out the Coca-Cola Classic, because I'm serious. When I say 8 to 10 a day, I'm not exaggerating. And but my triglycerides in 6 weeks went from 455 to 170, just all that sugar. And so I played around with it. I let people still think I was drinking Coke for several years just to tick off the tournament committee, because they had to have the certain cups. And I was issued a reprimand by the NCAA, so I just acted like I was drinking Coke.
I got yelled at for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coke ad while you're at UNC though, right?
Yeah, I think it's my 1st or 2nd year. And that's more information. But it's something in my background that something with my mom and her family, and so. But it was what it is. But Sprite Zero is pretty good. It's got a little bite to it, so I'm okay. Any other very great questions?
One real quick one.
Very great. That's terrible English on my part. Very
The
great
car
question.
commercials that are running right now, when did you shoot those, and where did you shoot
I
them?
have not seen them. I know we shot them over in Cary or Apex, and they froze me to death, and I got a cold for 2 weeks. But I have not seen it. I haven't seen either one of them. January?
December?
I don't know.
No,
It was 27 degrees when I got out of the freaking car over there. I know that, and we did it outside. But I really haven't. I haven't seen them. I got a great compliment. My son sent me a note, said, considering that it was you, those are pretty good. So that's about as good as I can get.